My name is Alex Moreno, and I became a millionaire at the age of 27. I had no rich parents, no special degree, no connections, just a small apartment, a laptop, and one big dream. 3 years ago, I was broke. I worked in a dirty warehouse and lived with 3 roommates. I didn't speak English well. I didn't believe in myself, but I made a promise. I would not waste my life. So I started building something. I failed, then failed again, but I kept going. Today I have my own company. I travel the world. I help my family. And I did it all by starting small and never giving up. This is the full story of how I became a millionaire, and if I could do it, maybe you can too. Chapter 1. Rock Bottom. 3 years ago, I lived in a small apartment. In a bad part of the city where the walls were thin, the water was cold, and the neighbors were always angry. I worked in a warehouse where I had to lift heavy boxes all day for almost no money and come home so tired I could barely think I shared. That apartment with 3 other guys, we didn't know each other well, but we had no choice because none of us could afford rent alone. My room was so small I could touch both walls with my hands, and when it rained, the ceiling leaked and my clothes got wet. I didn't speak English well. I only knew basic words from school, and I was too shy to talk to people in real life. Every night I lay in bed and scrolled through my phone watching people on YouTube living better lives, building businesses, traveling and smiling. I didn't know how they did it. I just knew I wanted more. I didn't want to be rich for cars or watches or big houses. I just wanted freedom. Freedom to wake up when I want to help my mom to eat good food and to feel proud of myself. But back then, I felt small, invisible, and stuck until one night, something changed. Chapter 2. The decision. It was a Thursday night, and I remember it clearly because I was sitting alone in the kitchen eating cold pasta from a plastic container when my phone buzzed. It was a notification from a YouTube video titled, "How I Made My First $1,000 Online," and I almost skipped it like always. But something in me said, watch it, and I did. The guy in the video didn't look special. He wasn't rich or famous. He was just honest and explained how he started a simple online store from his bedroom. He showed screenshots of his website and told how he failed many times before making even one sale. That night, I didn't sleep. I watched 5 more videos and took notes on my phone. I didn't understand everything, but I understood this. You don't need to be a genius or have a lot of money to start something. You need discipline, you need curiosity, and you need to try. So I made a decision. I was going to start something too. I didn't know what or how, but I would use my evenings and weekends to learn everything I could. I promised myself no more games, no more scrolling, no more excuses. Just one goal: escape this life and build a better one. And I was ready to begin. Chapter 3. The First Sale. The next day after work, I went to a small coffee shop with free Wi-Fi because my apartment internet was too slow, and I started searching how to build an online store. I found a website builder that had a free trial, and I spent hours choosing a name, a color, a logo, and writing my first product description. Even though my English was bad, I watched videos with subtitles. I paused, I repeated, I wrote things down, and slowly I began to understand how everything worked. I didn't sleep much that week. I worked at the warehouse all day and then stayed up until 2 or 3 in the morning, learning and building. I didn't tell anyone because I was afraid. They would laugh and say it was stupid. I sold simple things: phone cases, watches, notebooks, anything cheap and easy to ship. My first week, I had 0 visitors. My second week, I had 2. Then one night, while I was brushing my teeth, I got a sound on my phone. It said 1 order confirmed. I didn't believe it. I checked it 5 times. Someone from Canada had bought a black notebook from my store. It was only $9. But to me, it felt like $1,000,000 because it meant one thing. It was real. This idea, this work, this dream, it could actually work. Chapter 4. The Struggle. After that first sale, I thought everything would get easier, but I was wrong. The next 2 weeks I had no orders, no visitors, and my energy started to drop. I began to doubt myself. Maybe I was lucky. Maybe the first sale was just a mistake. Some nights I looked at my store and felt stupid, like I was wasting time when I could just rest after work. Like everyone else, I made changes to my website. I tried new products. I watched more videos, but nothing worked. Then one night, my site went offline because I forgot to pay for hosting, and I had no money left in my account. I felt like crying. I sat in the dark and thought, maybe this is not for me. Maybe I'm not smart enough or lucky enough. But then I remembered why I started. I saw my mom in my mind working long hours and never complaining. I saw my old school teacher who told me I would never succeed because I always dreamed too big. And I saw the guy from the video, the one who failed many times before making it. So I stood up, I opened my notebook, and I made a new plan. If I failed 10 times, I would try 11. If I had no money, I would find free ways to grow. If I had no time, I would sleep less, because giving up would mean going back to that small room and that cold kitchen, and I wasn't going back. Chapter 5. Growth Mode. I started reading about marketing, learning how to write better product descriptions, how to use colors, how to take good photos, and how to make people trust my store. I couldn't afford courses, so I watched free videos and read free blogs every night. I wrote ads in a small notebook during lunch breaks and tested them after work. I opened a TikTok account and started posting simple videos with music showing my products, using free apps to edit. At first, nobody watched, but then one video got 50 views, then 200, then 2,000. People started clicking the link in my bio, some followed, some bought, and my store came alive. Every week, I made small changes. I improved my English little by little and began answering customer messages myself. My confidence grew. I felt smart for the first time. In a long time, I stopped watching movies for fun and watched videos about how to build a brand, how to manage money, how to think like an entrepreneur. I worked hard, but I wasn't tired. I was excited because I saw the future forming piece by piece. In 3 months, I made my first $1,000 online. That money didn't change my life, but it changed my mindset. If I could make 1,000, once I could make 10,000 or more. The dream was now real. It was growing. And so was I. Chapter 6. The Breakthrough One Day. I got a message from a small influencer with 10,000 followers who liked my product and asked if I could send her one for free. At first, I thought it was a scam, but I checked her profile and saw she made real content and people loved her videos. I sent her a package with a handwritten thank you note and a simple idea for how she could show the product. 3 days later, she posted a video with my product and said this small store is amazing and I love what they're building. In 1 hour, I had 5 orders. In 2 hours, I had 15. By the end of the day, I had sold more than I had in the last month. I stayed up all night packing boxes, answering emails, printing labels, and smiling so much my cheeks hurt. People started tagging their friends and asking, When new colors would be available, my store traffic exploded. It felt like a dream, but I knew it wasn't luck this time. It was work discipline and showing up every single day, even when it didn't look like anything was happening. That one video changed the game. It turned my small idea into a real business. I was no longer just surviving. I was building something real, and I knew this was only the beginning. Chapter 7. The New Life. For the first time in my life, I didn't worry about rent. I didn't worry about bills, and I didn't feel stuck in a life I didn't choose. I moved into a small but clean studio apartment with a window that let the sunlight in every morning, and I bought a used desk and a comfortable chair so I could work better. I stopped eating noodles every day and started cooking real food, watching recipes in English, and learning new words like garlic pepper and olive oil. I called my mom and told her I would send her money every month, and she cried on the phone and said she was proud of me. That was the first time I ever heard her say that. I began to dream bigger. I started writing ideas for a second store. I thought about hiring someone to help with customer service, and I even signed up for an English class because I wanted to sound more professional. I wasn't rich yet, but I had freedom and purpose, and both felt better than any expensive car or watch. People who once ignored me started asking, "How did you do it?" And I smiled because I knew the answer. Step by step, day by day, never stopping, never giving up. I had built a new life not by chance, but by choice. Chapter 8. The First Million. 1 year after my first sale, I checked my store dashboard and saw a number I could not believe. It said total revenue $1,042. I stared at the screen for a long time, not moving, not blinking, just feeling something I never felt before. I didn't scream or jump or call anyone. I just sat there with a quiet smile because I knew what this number meant. It meant that every hour I worked, every failure I pushed through, and every small step I took had built something real. I wasn't a genius. I wasn't lucky. I was just a guy who decided not to quit. I used that money carefully. I reinvested in my business. I hired 2 part-time workers from my old neighborhood and gave them good pay. I donated to a school in my city that had no computers and helped them start an English program, and I bought a ticket to New York, not because I wanted to travel, but because I had a dream to see the city where all this began in my mind. As I stood in Times Square, surrounded by lights and people, I felt something deep in my chest. It wasn't pride or money, it was peace, because I knew I had changed my life with nothing but a cheap laptop, a strong reason, and a promise to never give up. Epilogue. What I learned. Looking back, I can say that becoming a millionaire was never really about the money. It was about proving to myself that I could change, that I was not stuck, that I had the power to grow and build something from zero. Money gave me freedom, yes, but the real prize was confidence and peace. If you want to change your life, you don't need perfect English, a perfect plan, or a perfect past. You need a reason strong enough to carry you through the hard days. You need to learn every day, act every day, and believe every day, even when results are not coming yet. I didn't have special skills or big connections. I had a small dream, a cheap phone, and a fire inside me that said, "Don't quit." So if you're listening to this, and you feel like you're behind or too late or not good enough, remember this. Every expert was once a beginner. Every success starts with one small step. And maybe, just maybe, today is your day to take that step.